Hey everyone out in internet land. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Tracey. I'm also known online as Seven Figure Grammy. And tonight we're just going to be going through some Walmart basics to try to help people who maybe haven't sold on the platform before or maybe a little bit new to the platform. We're going to go through kind of a why I'm going to be talking to you about Walmart, like why me, just so you get to know me a little bit better. And then we'll also do a little bit of sourcing so I can show you how I like to look at Walmart sourcing, which is a little bit different if you have done Amazon sourcing in the past. So we have a full amount of activities planned. Please ask questions. I'll make sure I open up the chat here on the YouTube live. I'll try to check in on Instagram and Facebook occasionally for any comments there. But we're just really here to try to kind of jumpstart some of you into the Walmart world for 2026. So let me share my screen, have a little bit of a presentation, and then we'll actually be live in the software and having conversations. So bear with me here as I share. I always like to start kind of, it's a joke, but maybe it's not so much a joke, that I'm a dinosaur in this industry. I was selling it on eBay in the 90s. I was invited onto Amazon's platform in the year 2000, which was the first year that they had third-party sellers onto the platform. Very quickly transitioned most of my online selling onto the Amazon platform in the first couple of years. Back in those days, there was a lot to be desired on the Amazon platform, just like some people kind of feel like that way about Walmart now. I think I have a little bit more grace and tolerance because I lived through Amazon growing and developing over time. But my background, I was a high school math teacher for several years. And then, and I was doing eBay on the side. I was doing Amazon on the side through those years to make extra money because as a teacher, and my husband at the time, he was a firefighter, didn't make a lot of money. So we supplemented our income with my kind of side hustle. I called it a hobby back then, so that we could buy our kids like nice Christmas gifts and take occasionally a little vacation, not anything big back then. But I did transition out of the teaching world into education technology. I was in that world for about 20 years. And I continued to side hustle Amazon throughout that time. I enjoyed it. I liked what I did. I made really good money in Q4 because I pretty much only sold toys. So during that period of time, I learned everything I could about Amazon, and that's kind of what we did. So then fast forward into about 2019 is when I got an invitation from Walmart to come join their platform. They had a platform for a few years. I'm not exactly sure when Walmart actually started third-party sellers, but they've been around for a couple of years, but still pretty new to the game. And so I was just like, hey, why not? Like, it worked for me last time when I took Amazon up on the offer. But I didn't do a lot with it in 2019. Like, my Amazon business was humming along. We were growing. I'd actually started my son working part-time for me. So there just wasn't a real reason to kind of look over to Walmart, and their platform left a lot to be desired. In 2019, it was just pretty terrible, like, to be real honest. Like, made me want to throw my laptop across the room multiple times. But they've gotten better with time, and they will continue to get better with time. But in 2020, I made the leap into full-time reselling. So I left my corporate job in the dust, no tears. Like I loved my time doing that, but really was ready to be my own boss. I had managed many people, many large departments, and just wasn't really happy in that corporate environment anymore, especially when COVID kind of hit. So in 2020, I hung things up and became a full time reseller, working out of my home. And then in 2021, I started a group with some friends of mine, Amazon selling friends, called The Village. That is a Facebook group that is now free. It used to be a paid group. We've opened it up and it's now free to anyone who sells on Amazon, Walmart, just business kind of sense and questions. And then I also, in 2022, moved into a warehouse. So our business was growing very rapidly. Once I went full time, I hired my son full time. We had one part time prepper, and we needed more space. So we went into a warehouse in 2022, and we actually just moved warehouses this past August, into a larger space. So we started with 2,000 square feet. We in 2023, February of 2023, after about 8 months in our space, we doubled it to 4,000 square feet. And then it just got too tight. So we went to about a 5,500 square foot warehouse now. And I do have 3 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and about 3 contractors that work for me. Last year, I started the Wow Winning on Walmart kind of family of services to help people navigate Walmart because it wasn't really easy and user friendly. I could say like Amazon, but Amazon has its moments where it's not user friendly either. So I have a Walmart course. I have some paid groups with leads. I have paid leads lists. Just lots of the offerings to try to help Walmart sellers grow their businesses. But nothing today is paid. This is all free. I'm partnering with the guys at Marter. I've worked with them since their software launched. And we're going to be using some of their software pieces when we get into discussing things. But let's kind of talk about like the Walmart journey. This is my Walmart journey. So you can see, 2019, and I don't even register because I did like hundreds of dollars of sales, like not a lot. But in 2020, a little bit more. And then in 2021, it's like, okay, yeah, I basically was sending like items I bought that maybe I couldn't get ungated on Amazon, or things just weren't moving as good on Amazon. So I tried them on Walmart, but I really didn't source for Walmart yet. That all happened in 2022 when I basically said, look, like this is another platform. It's another opportunity to kind of see like, can I forge the same kind of business on Walmart that I have on Amazon? And to do that, I knew that I needed to focus on what kind of products would sell on Walmart because the Walmart customer is a little different than the Amazon customer. And so by making kind of a concerted effort in 2022, my sales almost doubled. And it really showed me the opportunity that existed on Walmart. So, of course, my personality is like, okay, now that I know it works, like I'm going to double down. I'm going to do even more. So you can see in 2023 that I more than doubled my sales. It was like a 1.5x, 150% previous. And then I doubled down even more. And you can see in 2024, my growth. So all that to say, and then 2025, our numbers aren't quite finished, but that's about where we're going to end up. We're inching towards that $1 million sales mark on the Walmart platform by itself. I think we probably would have hit it this year, but Walmart kind of threw some curveballs at us and we kind of lost some sales opportunities for a few months. But all that to say, like, why I feel like that's an important move, at least for me, is diversification of your business. If you are all in on Amazon and you get a Section 3, or you get an inauthentic complaint that is like one of your best sellers or something that kind of just throttles your sales, down to next to nothing. If you don't have another source of income, if you're not still working full time or have a third side hustle, that may be a really painful time for you until you get your account back and get things up and running. And so for me, I was like, if I have another platform that I can sell on, that I can kind of get to the same level, then if one of them falls off the cliff for whatever reason, I can lean more into the other one. And so my goal has always been to try to get those two platforms about equal. I just kept wanting more and more market share to come over to Walmart. And there's some reasons why that we'll talk about. So this is a sales comparison of Amazon to Walmart sales year over year. So you can see in 2020, it's a small sliver. Walmart is a small sliver of our sales. It's a little bit bigger in 2021 and grows obviously in 2022. But 2023 is really where you see it. And that's when all year long I was like, okay, we're going to send in a shipment every single week to Walmart. Has to be one shipment. I don't care how big it is, but we're going to ship weekly. And that obviously paid off for us. 2024, you see the portion get even bigger. And then now in 2025, we're actually at about 52% Amazon and 48% Walmart, which I feel really, really good about. Now you will see my sales have dropped. There are some reasons for that. If you don't know, I had a fire where I lost a large amount of inventory at the end of 2022. And so we kind of survived in 2023 through some loans, but insurance never completely paid us. And so those loans really started eating into our capital, and we've been working to pay those loans off. And so we've taken more of our capital towards the loan versus taking that capital into inventory. But our business is much healthier now than it was 2 years ago after the fire. So selling on Walmart. This is me at my first Walmart conference, which was in 2024. I went again this year in 2025. But why would you want to sell on Walmart? Well, number one, it's a free account. So unlike Amazon, where for a professional account, you have to pay $40 a month, Walmart will give you an account for free. So why not have it? I know a friend of mine who had a Walmart account for almost 3 years before he listed his first item. So, I kept kind of encouraging him, and he kind of fought it, but then he finally did and had some success, kind of moving some of his product over there. Overall, there are lower fees on Walmart. So that means more money in your pocket, which is always a good thing. So your gross revenues are usually higher, just because of the lower fee structure on Walmart. There's also less gating. We all know, especially this year, how Amazon really cracked down on the gating and regating of certain brands. Walmart does have some gating, but it's much easier to get ungated in a lot of these brands. There are very few things that are restricted outside of like Walmart partnerships. So like their own Walmart labeled items, like Equate and holiday time right now for Christmas. Like those are Walmart brands, so we can't sell those. And we can't sell partnered brands like Crocs or Pioneer Woman. But outside of that, really you have a lot of opportunity to sell product that you probably can't sell on Amazon. There is still less competition. On most listings, there are fewer sellers than the listings that are over on Amazon. It does increase during Q4, but it increases on Amazon in Q4 too. And relative to that, it's still usually less competition. Typically, I can get a higher sales price on Walmart, which is kind of odd to think about because Walmart's known for low prices. But because you have that less competition, you're not clawing your way to like lower to get the buy box. So typically we do see higher sales. And then of course, like I talked about, just diversifying a little bit. And it doesn't have to be 50-50. It can be 10% Walmart and 90% Amazon. Because I know Amazon's a beast. The velocity game over there is great. You can sell a lot of product over on Amazon, but for the things that you can't sell, like move those over to Walmart and still make some money on them. So diversification to me is just a real strong point of why to sell on Walmart. Some of the cons, because I like to be very transparent. The UI is a little clunky sometimes. What I mean by that, it's not as elegant as Amazon, but Amazon is a almost 26-year-old platform. Walmart will get there. They're constantly making updates to the platform, which can be annoying because you learn it one way and then they change it. But they're doing that to try to streamline things and make it easier. There's also sometimes some glitchy processing. And again, that just kind of goes with new software. Personally, I worked in the software industry 20 years, so I kind of understand that. And I'm always just like, walk away, come back in an hour, and it's usually working again. Walmart does have, in my opinion, kind of a time-consuming item setup process, although they have streamlined it and it's better today. But it is a little bit, it's not quite as nice as going on Amazon and just like scanning a UPC. Yes, I want to sell it. Here's my price. Here's how many. Boom, I'm done. So that process is a little wonky, especially for WFS, which is the equivalent of Amazon's FBA. So Walmart Fulfillment Services, if you're shipping your product to Walmart and then they're shipping to the customer. Marter did a great job of helping with that by developing a product called Inventory Falcon. If you're used to like Inventory Lab or Scan Power, I think it's called, one of those products where you can kind of scan, enter information, and kind of set up a shipment. Inventory Falcon is similar to that, and it helps really kind of like smooth over some of the glitchiness of setting product up. So they did a great job on that tool. There is not as much data for Walmart. So there's not as many third-party tools as you have your choice of, what kind of profit calculator you want for Amazon. There are not that many offerings for Walmart. But again, Marter they kind of have led this development in the Walmart scene. And we do have, fee calculators. They introduced Histamart, which we'll show today, which is like looking at historical data, very much like Keepa. It's just we don't have 10, 15 years worth of data. We have about a year's worth of data right now. So that product will continue to grow and become better as we collect more and more data. And then also on Walmart, typically it's a slower velocity. And I say on average, I sold some products this Christmas that I was selling equally as well on Walmart as I was on Amazon. I had them listed, the certain products on both. And we were selling about the same number every day. That happens more in Q4 than it does the other quarters. But there are some products that just people will go to Walmart because that's where they know they can get them. So getting started on Walmart, and I'll bring up, there's a QR code. If you aren't on Walmart yet, let's see. Oh, actually, I don't have it on here, so my apologies. So you just go to this website, and this is my referral code. That kind of, it basically just tells them that a Walmart seller referred you to start. And I'll put this on the YouTube replay. I'll put it down in the notes. But if you use that application, you can get started to sell on Walmart. You do need an EIN, which is free. That is an employee identification number for the IRS. So you want to, it's free to get one. I'll also put that in the replay, the link. And your business name must match all documentation. So I recommend that if you don't have this already, that you establish an LLC, you get a bank account in that business name, keep all of your finances separate from your personal finances, get your EIN, get all that stuff lined up before you go to apply to sell here. The other thing that they're going to want to see is a history of selling. So that can be an Amazon storefront. That can be your eBay store or a Shopify or an Etsy. They don't want brand new people who have never sold online before. That's kind of different than it is on Amazon. Amazon will take you if you've never sold a thing in your life. But Walmart wants people who kind of know e-commerce already, and can bring the items to them that they think their customers want. So let's talk a little bit about sourcing for Walmart. I mentioned this, and I think this was something that I had a really hard time wrapping my brain around when I first started selling on Walmart. Initially, I was like, well, I sell it on Amazon, so obviously it's going to sell on Walmart. And so, like, one of the first things I did, I sent a pallet of product into Walmart, and I didn't sell a single unit of that item. And I'll tell you what it was. It was Banana Boat children's sunscreen. It was like a blue foam. So it was like this fancy, fancy dancy, sunscreen. They sell it at Walmart. But the people who are going to shop online at Walmart are probably buying a Quate brand, or they're looking for, the cheaper sunscreen, and this was not cheaper. And so I kind of learned a little bit of a lesson around your Walmart seller. So you really want to think about the people walking into a Walmart to shop there. Those are your customers. So it's not necessarily, the mom at the country club who maybe shops at Target is not probably going to go to Walmart to buy their items. They'll probably go to Amazon. There are Walmarts all over the country. Lots of people shop at Walmart. It's a really well-known name. They're doing a lot of advertising about their online marketplace, and I think that they'll continue to grow in terms of the market share. But for now, I would just think about what would somebody go in a Walmart to buy, and those are the kind of items that you want to try to be selling. So grocery does great on Walmart. All categories do. But like if you're going to sell clothing, I wouldn't sell Nike on Walmart. I mean, I have, but like it's just not going to move at the same pace as selling like a more general brand of clothing does. So just take those thoughts. So some of the things that you can do to like get started selling on Walmart is look at your death pile. Look at items that came back that you could no longer sell on Amazon for whatever reason, whether it be gating or maybe they just didn't move on Amazon. Those would be good items to kind of test. And I always suggest testing items on Walmart. You can do that through merchant fulfilling them, or you can do that by sending like up to 10 items or 10 units of an item. I wouldn't send a pallet like I did until you know that that's a product that actually moves well. You can also do just typical RA. You can scan. Use Marter to help you make good buying decisions while you're in the store. So you can scan the products UPC. You can see if there's a Walmart listing for it. And on Marter, you'll be able to see all the data that you need to know if that's a good buy. And I'll show you what that looks like. Also, you can find fast movers on Walmart and reverse source. So looking for items that say, customer favorite, bestseller, in 100 plus people's carts. Like those are going to be clues for you that those are items that move well on Walmart. You can also storefront stock, and we probably won't have time to do that today, but you can use Marter tools to help you with that. To go into somebody's store that's selling an item and see what other items they have. Also, Amazon to Walmart flips. So there's software for that. There's a product called Marter Online Arbitrage. You can also use Nepeto, which has an Amazon to Walmart component. Flip Alert is another one that is included with Walmart products. And you can also use Keepa and just look at products that are going to sell on Amazon and then kind of reverse its source and look it up on Walmart and see if it's good. Walmart to Walmart flips. I do a ton of these. I buy a ton of product at Walmart. Today, I filled my Suburban at Walmart of things that I will sell back on the Walmart marketplace. Walmart works a little bit differently. Unlike Amazon, which has giant warehouses where they're shipping items out to the customers, Walmart leans into their stores and ships from their stores because they have so many stores all over America. However, if your store is out of something, guess who gets the sale? A third party seller. Because they're not going to ship an item from Ohio to Oklahoma from an Ohio store. And they do have some things in warehouses, but for the most part, they're shipping from stores. And that kind of gives us some room to do that arbitrage and kind of fill that gap. I talked about OA with the Marter extension, and then also you can use leads list. I have a leads list. Derek Lee has OA Hunt has a Walmart leads list. So there's definitely some places that you can go to kind of get you started with things you can sell. So making buying decisions, kind of for me, there's three main components. Is it profitable? Am I going to make money on it, basically, and make enough money? $1 is not enough for me. The velocity, how fast is it going to sell? Like what information do I have to show that this item sells well enough for me to buy 10, 20, 30? And then competition. How many other sellers are on the listing? So that would, and then what is their pricing versus what pricing point I would do? So I'm going to click and show an example. This is currently out of stock. It is a seasonal Starbucks product, which is why it's currently out of stock. But this would be an amazing product to sell on Walmart because it's out of stock. So if you could find this product at your local grocery store, at a Target, over on Amazon, it would be the perfect product to bring over to Walmart. So there's lots of things here. We're not going to talk about all of them on this product. But for this product, what I would be looking at is the price history. This shows that it was selling at $35. I know that a 22-pack of Starbucks coffee does not cost $35. It's probably around $20. This says $16.79. That might be a clearance price, but $35. And then I can also come down here. I see that there are no sellers. I can see that there were sellers and everybody has sold out. And then I can see right now it's saying estimated sales 4 per month, so with our estimated sales, it is an estimate on Walmart, and this estimated sales is focusing on items that are fulfilled by Walmart, so not necessarily seller fulfilled. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So if I got this product, we'll just do a little totally off the cuff, haven't done this. I'm going to copy this title and I'm just going to go over to Google and see if anybody has this in stock right now. So it's seasonally available, but let's see if I go to shopping, if anybody is showing that this is in stock. There's somebody, possibly. eBay. So yeah, really nobody doesn't look like has that right now. But I love seasonal copy. We could look at a different copy too. But what I want to look at is you don't have any competition, so that's great. The price point would most likely be good if you were to find this somewhere. And then in terms of velocity, it doesn't give me this is super strong, but I also can look at down here at Histamart. And if I do this to all months, so back when it was in stock, you can see it sold like crazy when it was in stock. So it's just a matter of stock ran out. So obviously this sales estimate is going to be a little bit lower. So this product would be a great product to pick up. Okay. Yeah, let me escape. That's all I got in terms of just the presentation. So now we're actually going to look at how you would source on Walmart and how you would make tell some of the, like indicators of whether it's a good product to buy or not. So let me close this out. And this is one of my favorite dolls to talk about, but we're gonna talk about her in a minute. So we're gonna talk about her yet. So let me just go to Walmart. So right now we are in the end of the year clearance season, which is great because that means there's probably going to be a lot of products that are going to end up being highly profitable for us over time. So let's kind of dig into some clearance here. I tend to lean towards toys. I know more about toys than most other things. And the one thing I'm going to do is filter Walmart because I only want to see products that are sold by Walmart. I don't want clearance from other third-party sellers. Okay, I'm going to look at this one right here. I actually bought this product today, so if that tells you anything. So things I like about this product, obviously it's highly clearanced right now. It's 75% off its normal price. Normal price is $30, $29.95. We can see on Walmart that 1,000 plus were bought since yesterday. Obviously, that number is shooting up because it's on clearance. It is marked as a bestseller, so that means there's been performance over time showing that this product does sell well. So those are all good indicators for me that this would be a good product to pick up. What I will do with this product is I will put it in a box and I will put it up on a pallet rack until next year. So like I won't be selling it until next Christmas, but that it doesn't mean it won't sell right now. It's just I know I can probably gain a higher price by holding it until next year. So this is the Marter Chrome extension. So it will pop up when I get on an item on Walmart.com and give me all sorts of information about the product. It tells me that this product sells on Amazon for $26. Well, if I am an Amazon seller, $7.49 to $26 is already profitable. So I could take it and go sell over on Amazon. It gives me the UPC. It gives me dimensions. I would look at those. Walmart's dimensions sometimes do not come across correctly. So just like look at them and say, does that make sense? In this case, it does. The weight, that makes sense. I get to see the badges that are right here. This is the Walmart item ID. It gives me the brand. We all know on Amazon, if things are branded incorrectly, that causes problems. I like to try to only list on correctly branded items on Walmart as well. So that gives me some information. Then I'm gonna go to this next little section. It tells me the current buy box winner. This only has 4 sellers currently on this listing, which is not a lot. This tells me what the referral fees would be if I sold it at this price. So obviously, if I come back in and say I'm gonna sell it for $29.99, those referral fees go up because they're a percentage of the sale. Your WFS cost is like your pick and pack fee on Amazon. That is a set amount for this product based upon dimensions and weight. So if I send this to Walmart, for Walmart to fulfill to the customer, that's going to cost me $5.75 of my sales price every time it sells. What I have to ask myself is, what I ask myself, because we do a lot of merchant fulfilling too, is can I merchant fulfill it cheaper than $5.75? If it's over a pound, I probably can't. So this would definitely be cheaper for me to send and let Walmart ship out to people. Then I want to put in my buy cost, so $7.49. So it's going to use this referral fee, the WFS cost, and my buy cost, and compare that with the sales price to show me what my profit would be on this item. So this would be a $12.25 profit. That's 163% ROI. So all good things. Now, estimated sales is showing 0. And that is most likely because people were merchant fulfilling this. It's a seasonal item, so they probably didn't get them early enough to be able to send in to WFS. but I can look at these indicators that it's a bestseller and know that this product is selling. And we know historically it's been $30, so it's being clearanced right now. So all those are just really great things. If I scroll down here in the middle, this is Histamart. This is like your Keepa chart for Walmart. This product is a seasonal product. It didn't exist last year. This is a new version of this brick craft. So we don't have a ton of data. We do know that the price point was $29.97 until just recently. Here you can see the price coming down. That's going to come down even further when they capture today was the next markdown when that happened. So we scroll down, we see badges and that kind of thing, but we don't have a whole lot of information on this yet, except that I know bestseller, this thing sells. I'm not worried about it. We only have these few sellers on it. Looks like Walmart only has one more in stock. So once this one sells, then that price is going to jump to the next person that's going to get the buy box, which is probably this person, $24.95, a little bit below the $25 price points. So that's one item. So let's look at another item. We'll look at this one. So LOL Surprise is a brand that most Amazon sellers can't sell. It is a really, really locked down brand. But on Walmart, you can sell it. So that really opens up some opportunities if you have access to clearance or discounted LOL merchandise. So this is discounted down to $16, sold by Walmart. If I scroll down, I get to see stock count. And again, it's only showing that they have one left. And then if you buy that one, look at what the next price is, $40. So let's go up here and let's say we sell this for $40. Referral fee adjusts. WFS cost stays the same because it's based on dimensions and weight. And I bought this for $16. That's an 81% ROI. So really great ROI. Estimated sales is 5 a month. I'm only going to buy one because that's all it says Walmart has. I will say that like it being discounted online means it's probably also discounted in stores. So you could go to the store and look for it. Or if you're in a group that has a stock checker, you could run the stock checker based upon the UPC. Our Walmart group has a stock checker. We use it every single day to look and see who has discounted stuff in stock. But this would be a great item. There's only 2 sellers, Walmart being one of them, and they're going to be off of it as soon as this gets done. It's also a good thing for us to talk about regional. So like my count shows 1 available. If you're in New Jersey, you might show 300 available because maybe your stores have way more stock than what my stores do. So those are just things to think about. But it really doesn't matter if you're WFS, they're going to ship to the customer that is wanting that product. So it doesn't matter if they're in New Jersey or Oklahoma. It's just, they're going to see the buy box if they don't have that product close by. Let's see, if I scroll down here on Histamart, we can see this is a stock drop. So this means sales that are happening back here. So that's really good. We see the price point coming from 30 now to 16. Walmart's kind of done that a couple of times, it looks like, but I would say they're probably getting rid of their stock if they're only down to 1. All right, we'll look at one more, and then I will go back and double check any questions that you have. This is a great buy, I think. So I'm trying to find something that's maybe not as much of a clearance item. Okay, let's look at this Lego. It's not hugely discounted, but most likely this set is retiring if it's on clearance at Walmart, which means the price point should be starting to climb up as soon as Walmart gets rid of it, as soon as they're done selling it. So you can see we have a bestseller badge on this. If you look over here on badges, there's also a 50 plus people in 50 plus people's cart. So that's a good sign. We can see on Amazon, it sells for $17.99 right now, and it sells 2,000 units a month. So obviously, like I said, velocity on Amazon is usually always greater, but it is a good indicator that this will probably sell well on Walmart. Take 10% of that. That would be about 200 units a month. If that's the worst case scenario, that's still a lot of units. We can see that Marter is estimating 434 units a month. So about 20% of the velocity of Amazon. So that's still a lot of units when you only have 12 sellers that you're competing against. If we sold this for $17.99 and our price is $8, we have a $3.84 profit, which is 48% ROI. And that is really not bad. This is a small set. It doesn't take up a lot of space. You can see that how cheap it is, $3.45 for Walmart to do the fulfillment. Cost me way more if I merchant fulfilled that. So those are all good indicators. We can look at stock counts. Walmart says they have 9 available at this $8 price point. And then everybody else here is less than 20 units. So even with that many sellers, it's not that many units that you're competing against. So I would expect the price actually to go up. I would probably price this more around that $21 price point. Wouldn't take me long to wait for that, which is getting close to 100% ROI. So I think this is a solid product. We can see it's getting reviews every single month. That means it definitely is selling. And even when Walmart had the buy box, they were sharing the buy box. So that's all good information as well. Here on Histamart, we can see this is Walmart's price. We can see seller fulfilled prices here. And then down here, we can see the stock counts going up and down, and now it's trailing and going down. So like they are selling out of their stock. And all of these stock drops mean sales, 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 lots and lots of sales. So that's really, really good. So this one is, Minecraft's a hot commodity right now. I would have no problem buying that product. Maybe sending it in right away, maybe keeping hold of it for 3 or 4 more months. And then you're going to see that price go up even more. All right, let me just check and see if you guys have any questions. I'm not seeing anything on the YouTube. Looking back. Thank you guys on Instagram for joining me. I see some people that joined over there. Appreciate that. And guys, if you go to the YouTube channel, appreciate subscriptions. That helps me, as well as likes on the video. I'll try to post those links so that you have them. So let me just kind of like do a little summarizing here. So Walmart, you know, it has its own kind of issues, like Amazon has issues. But I feel like any e-commerce seller that sells on Amazon should have a Walmart account. And again, I don't care, even if you don't use it right away. I just feel like having it is better than not having it if some situation comes up and you find that you've got to make a move with your inventory or pivot for a few months. And I think that there's a lot of good about balancing having both. I think, obviously there's a lot of things I sell on Amazon that I don't sell on Walmart and vice versa. But there's also product that I can buy more of and I can send it to both places. And that's not that the level of work is so minute to do that, to be able to go through more inventory without more work of actually discovering is it a good product and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm putting in the head work to figure out, like, is this a good buy? Is it a good buy for Walmart? Is it a good buy for Amazon? Is it a good buy for both? I do all that on the front end, and then it's no more work for the prepping and sending of inventory at all. So hopefully this was a good introduction for some of you into what it's like to sell on Walmart. Definitely, if you want to sign up for Walmart. Do that. I will get that code on the YouTube replay and in the Facebook groups. If you want to join the WOW Facebook group, that is a Facebook group all about Walmart. You can ask questions in there. We've got great people who answer questions. It's just kind of a place you can vocalize. So that QR code is what's on there right now. And then I'm going to change it because if you want to join the Marter Facebook group to get information about Marter and getting those tools to help you on Walmart, you can go to that Facebook group as well. I will put some codes and things and links in the YouTube replay so that if you want to link through there, that you can as well. Okay. Oh, questions. Yes. Okay, Corinne FBA. Is there a way to know before you add an item if you are gated? Kind of. I hate that I have to say it that way. So Walmart does not have the same level of transparency on the front end that Amazon does about gated items. So you guys know that if you go in and you try to list something on Amazon, it will stop you and say oh no, you got to get ungated, and then it tells you what you need to do, how many units, blah blah blah. Walmart takes a different approach, and believe me, this is something I talk to them about every chance I get. You actually have to list the item before you know if you can sell it. If you're in some groups, you'll kind of hear about brands, and you'll kind of know that in advance. But I always suggest listing the item seller fulfilled. Don't list it WFS because you can't delete it. And list the item seller fulfilled. See if it processes and publishes for you. If it errors out, but it says you need approval, you can apply to try to ungate it. That process again is not as smooth as Amazon's process. You have to open a case. They respond to the case, then you respond with your invoice, receipts, whatever, for the items, and answer some questions, and then you hear back again. So it's kind of a back and forth. Takes a few weeks for that process. Marter, however, we built in this little report gated so that if you scan something and you know that that's something that requires ungating, you can report it. And the more reports, kind of the more accurate it is. So this is kind of crowdsourced information. So Lego is a brand that you have to ungate. It is pretty easy. You just have to buy, typically it's 50 units. And then you go through that ungating process to find out. So let's go back to this Barbie that I said I would come back to. So again, 26 people said, hey, I had to get ungated in Barbie, so that you know that in advance. But if I go to, let's go back to that, this LOL doll. Yeah, this has 0 reports of being gated. I don't think I had to ungate LOL. And that stuff does change, day to day. But at least you have a little bit of a sense of it as far as that goes. This Barbie, I didn't come back to it. I love this Barbie just because this thing sells like nobody's business. It got down as low as I think $4.99 at one point this year. And it comes in and out of stock. So it's just kind of one of those items I like to go to it because there's tons of data. So if I go to all-time data, you can see the history of it here. You can see stock rising and falling over time. You can see, all the sales that are happening here. This estimates sales at $2,500 a month. This thing is just a rocket ship. But yeah, I like it because it's got a lot of data to it. Yeah, you can't tell until it goes all the way through and it airs out. Yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, that is the way it is on Walmart. I've spoken to them. I've actually shown them Amazon's process. I've recommended, because I actually have meetings with Walmart, sometimes a few times a month. They do a lot with, it's called seller advisors, where they show us different parts of the product and we give them feedback and what we want changed or what isn't working. And so I'm able to have a lot of communication with them. And that's something I do talk about right now. It's just, it is what it is. Oh, I left my warehouse and moved into a new one. Yes. Why did we move? A couple of reasons. One, we were very cramped for space and there was no opportunity to get into a larger space, kind of where we were at a price point that was affordable. They had raised our rate every year, which is in our contract. But when we went to renew the lease, they raised it. They wanted even more money. And so it was a newer place. And so I understand that they think that it should have been a premium price. But they had a lot of empty units. So it's like, would have been better to like work with us and negotiate with us. And so when I was looking for a space to kind of, because I was getting very frustrated trying to talk with them about, could we move like within the park, to a different place that had more space. And I was trying to negotiate pricing on that and they just weren't moving anywhere. One day I got on LoopNet, which is a business kind of like a realtor.com for business. And I'd always kind of like kept my searches to like 5,000 square feet or less. And for whatever reason that day, I forgot to put in that square foot limitation. And one of the first properties that came up was a 12,000 square foot warehouse, which of course, like totally like too big for us. But it said in the listing that they were willing to divide it. So I opened it up and looked at it. And what caught my attention immediately is that it was fully air conditioned. So we had been in this old warehouse. Well, it was a new building, but like in our warehouse space for 3 years with no air conditioning. So in the summertime, we had to move all of our meltable product into my office because my office was air conditioned. But the rest of the warehouse was not. And it was just in Oklahoma heat. Like, honestly, like we had months where it was probably over 100 degrees out in the warehouse. So it was you couldn't work out there for more than like 15, 20 minutes at a time. So because it was fully air conditioned, super interested, I called the agent. I said, how fast can I meet you there? Like, I'm super interested. And went and looked at it. And it was just a big open space. It used to be a warehouse for volleyball. Like they had like multiple courts. That's why it was air conditioned. So it was just a big open, almost like gymnasium, but had 20-foot ceilings. And when I talked to him about dividing it, we just kind of cut it in half. We got a little less than half. That was my decision to take the little bit smaller side, just of where they had to put the wall because of the garage doors. But it's still in a great location. It's better for trucks than our old place was. We do get a lot of, big old long 18-wheelers coming in to deliver product to us. And it was really tight at our old place. And this place has plenty of space. And there's only 5 tenants in the whole park. So it's a better environment. And that's why we moved. Marter's legit. Yeah. The guys over there really, really want to make the best product possible. They're really open to feedback from everyone. So join the Marter Facebook group. There's also a Marter Discord. I'll put the link to that also in the show notes. And just give them feedback. Like, they're always improving and trying to make it better than anything that's out there. And so that they've taken lots of feedback, and that's why we have these features like setting alerts. This is like Keepa alerts, guys. It has gained me so many great sales deals because I was one of the first people to know the price got dropped on it. Is Barbie gated? I believe so. People are reporting it. You have to remember, like, I've been on the platform 6.5 years. So like, I don't know today what that looks like. And back when I joined, very few things were gated at all. I think Squishmallows was one of the only ones I had to like show invoices for. So yeah, it's kind of every day you kind of learn more about that. But there's tons of brands that you can sell. And if Barbie is gated, like I said, if you just show them an invoice or even receipts, that you've bought 50 or more units of that brand, that will get you ungated. So although the process is kind of a back and forth for a couple of weeks, it is, in my opinion, easier than on Amazon. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And let me double check over here if there's any other questions. Don't see any. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. We're going to be doing a few of these sessions over the next month or two. So, get keyed in to the Marter Facebook page or the Wow Winning on Walmart Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram if you want 7-figure Grammy. I'll post there when we're doing these sessions. But my goal is to help as many people as I can be successful in the e-commerce space. I think Walmart offers a lot of opportunity. I've helped sellers raise their sales, throughout the year. I'm passionate about it because I know what this has done for me and my family. And I'm able to support multiple people now in my business as full-time employees. And so I want to be able to give that back to this community because I feel like that's the right thing to do. And I feel like a rising tide raises all ships. I feel like there shouldn't be gatekeeping in this environment. There's plenty of money to be made for everyone. Am I going to give you my top seller? No, but I will teach you how to go find your own. So thank you guys for joining, and I will